Hello guys, welcome to the new episode of Behind the AGM. This is Daniel, and as all of you expected, today we're here with G2 Guardian, the first smartphone with a thermal monocular function that has a detection range of 500 meters. You know, it's also probably the most expensive rugged smartphone in the world. We took it to MWC Barcelona this March, the biggest mobile tech exhibition in the world, and it got lots of attention and received a lot of good positive feedback there. It also has been on pre-sale on our official website, agmmobile.com, for over a month, and actually it's going quite well. We sell it around 1,000 USD or euros, depending on different countries' customs and tax policies. And you know, I never thought that we can have all those guys to pay $1,000 in advance and be willing to wait for about 2 months to have it. We are really grateful for your patience, guys. 8 months ago, when we were having the product definition discussion of G2 Guardian, I had this sense of that we are probably making the most expensive rugged smartphone. But we all love the whole idea, and it matches G-Series DNA so well, to prove that we're always willing to think bold, be the challengers and bar racers of this industry, while, you know, everyone else is just making similar products. Now, let me proudly introduce 500 meters in thermal sight, AGM G2 Guardian. Let's start with G2 Guardian thermal performance. G2 Guardian has the best thermal function ever in any smartphone, and we don't think any of our competitors could catch up with our pace this year. It's the first smartphone equipped with a thermal monocular. Now, what is a thermal monocular? To some of you that don't know what a thermal monocular is, it's a pro equipment that is frequently used by hunters, ranchers, law enforcement, military, and other professionals that might require a long-distance detection function. Obviously, G2 Guardian and a thermal monocular don't look similar, but they do have similar specs. We did put a lot of work on structure design and reducing its size to finally squeeze it into a phone. I'm 100% sure that G2 Guardian delivers a whole new level of user experience as a smartphone. Let me tell you, we tested tons of thermal monoculars and when we were developing G2 Guardian, and I can tell you it's a real game changer. The battery life, the charging, the convenience for you to carry around, and the most important is we changed the way you interact with it. I mean, how can you compare a flagship smartphone that provides tons of utility, including that long-range thermal vision, to an electronic device that just provides the thermal vision using 5 buttons in total and basically have no operating system at all? Long press this, double tap that, to be honest, is such a headache, but we will get into that later. Alright, so let's break it down to some advanced specs. The main achievement that we have this time is that the detection range of human-sized objects is now around 500 meters. We use a bigger and stronger thermal sensor for G2 Guardian. Compared to the last generation of Glory, which is G1 Pro and G1S, it can capture a 5 times stronger thermal signal from your target. It also has a 10mm lens, providing a 3 times narrower FOV, both horizontally and vertically, and will allow you to focus on your object 9 times better. Please note, do not point the thermal monocular directly towards the sun, because this could damage the sensor. So, if you are familiar with thermal monoculars, you will notice that there are 2 different kinds of distance range that are often mentioned: detection range and recognition range. So let's dig into that and see some field test footage about detection range. Now you are able to detect 180 centimeters creature heat signal from 500 meters away. In this case, you can see a dot on the G2 Guardian display. For some big size objects like cars, trucks or boats, the detection range will be around 1,000 meters or more. And for some small animals like rabbits or rats, we expect it to be about the 100 meters mark. So on the other hand, we have recognition range. Recognition range means that you will be clearly able to recognize from 200 meters away that this 180 centimeters creature is a human, a zebra, or a kangaroo that just kidnapped your dog. This is still a pretty long distance, considering that common hunter shotguns' effective range is within 100 meters. Image quality is also vital. Guardian image resolution is 256 x 192 and supports 25 Hz video recording. It's still the best in any thermal smartphone. By the way, we are also looking for expert professionals that are willing to try G2 Guardian and give us feedback, because we are planning to update our application software from time to time to make it better and better. So talking about our thermal app, it does have some unique features that even professional devices don't have. We put a lot of effort to develop the best thermal software that we could. Let me help you to understand how it works. Autofocus and manual focus are actually a very useful feature to get a clear look at your target. Thermal cameras usually have three types of focus: fixed focus, autofocus, and manual focus. So entry-level thermal equipment and all thermal phones before Guardian are using fixed focus. Fixed focus, it's really simple and easy to use. The problem is that the display's NETD, which means thermal sensitivity, is actually lower than the one that the thermal sensor could originally provide. And that's a waste of potential. So to release all the power of G2 Guardian thermal sensor, we are going with two options: autofocus and manual focus. Just tap the screen to use autofocus, and in most cases, you should already have the object perfectly focused. You can also use the volume key to adjust the focus point manually, in case you have multiple objects on screen or if there is a specific part of your target that you want to focus on. Our autofocus algorithm is based on thermal sign only, so we recommend you to put your target in the center. G2 Guardian has two different main modes: night vision mode and measurement mode. You can switch between them at the lower right corner of the display. Obviously, when you measure temperature, you are using the measurement mode. Measure range is between 0 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius. Not that wide compared to G2 Pro, which is from -20 degrees to 550. We have many options available to get the best results. For the best accuracy, you will want to put your target in a range between 2 to 8 meters, and later adjust the parameters under Settings, 10 params. Here you also have the emissivity table. This option will help you to improve the temperature measurements accuracy by selecting the object surface material. We have some common materials for you to select, and you can also customize it if your target is made of some special material that is not included by us. For those ones, it's better if you Google them up. We also have temperature measuring distance. Under this option, you can manually select the distance between G2 Guardian and the object. Another one is reflect temperature, and this one is for some special cases. Like, for example, you want to measure the temperature of a person that is standing something that is really hot, then put that data into reflect temperature. But here you don't need to be too accurate about that reflect temperature data to get good results. The last option is atmosphere temperature, which is the temperature of the surroundings. And again, like in the previous one, you don't need to be too specific about the data. Actually, the option that makes the biggest difference is the emissivity table that we mentioned previously. Alright, so let's go back to the main interface. We have multiple ways to make your target pop out. Of course, we have different preset palettes for different applications, but further than that, this time you will be able to customize your own one to get the best results. Not all colors fit every situation. Actually, some palettes could make your job even harder. So it's great to be able to customize it at will. Another option that we have is that you can also adjust the brightness and contrast to better fit the lighting conditions on your surroundings and get a better view of your target. At the right part of G2 Guardian screen, we have two options. The A or M buttons are also for changing the color display. Using A mode or auto mode, Guardian will automatically display the highest temperature as white and the lowest temperature will be displayed as black. In M mode or manual mode, you will be able to be the one who decides what is a high temperature and what is a low temperature. Swap the color to define which one is the high temperature and which one is the low one. You can also analyze the object temperature by drawing a dot, a line, or a square. So let's talk about the other main mode, night vision. Temperature measurement mode, the one that we previously discussed, is not usually that needed for thermal monocular users. For example, hunters will find the night vision mode much more useful since they don't need to know the exact temperature to pull the trigger. In our spec sheet, we say that the thermal sensitivity of our sensor is less than 60 nK, which is correct. But what we didn't tell you is that when you are using night vision mode, it will be around 30 nK, making it the next level product. But why did we also include this night vision mode? Using night vision mode, it's easier to highlight heat signatures, especially at night, since it doesn't showcase that much other lower temperatures. This will make your target pop out on display much faster and clearer. We also have three kind of preset options here called Highlight, Enhance, and Nature. By using these ones, you will be able to clearly spot your target every time. We also added some other useful extra features. We have shatter compensation. So when you are using the thermal function, the whole thermal monocular module gets too hot, so it loses precision. It's set up to auto-refresh itself every 2 minutes to keep the component safe and accurate, but you can also use this function to refresh it manually. Another function that we have is time-lapse. You can set a timer, and when that time has passed, Guardian will record video or take a picture. And the last one that I'm going to be talking about is that we also have the picture-over-picture function. It will allow you to use the thermal monocular and the rear camera at the same time. Both images will be displayed on the screen at the same time, and you can change from one to the other in a very quick way. So far, that's all I got for introducing G2 Guardian thermal monocular function. But before heading into other features and specs that G2 Guardian has, I want to bring up the price here. We saw that our community members were really excited when we first introduced the G2 Guardian features, but of course some of them got discouraged after we released the price. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. G2 Guardian is not a cheap smartphone, that's for sure. According to the database that we have, the market share for phones that are over $1,000 is less than 10%. Not to mention that in this price range, our competitors are mostly Apple, Samsung, and other giants with their super flagship phones. They really represent the top-notch tech of the smartphone industry with models like the iPhone 14 Pro Max or the Samsung S23 Ultra. I tried both of them myself when they came up. So if you plan to buy a regular smartphone with the best overall performance, they will be my recommendations for sure. For us to share a price range with them, that means great pressure on us, but unfortunately this is a must-have for us. So let me explain why. If you look at the BOM cost, which stands for the bill of materials, G2 Guardian BOM cost is around $740 USD, mainly because of the thermal module. So if you look up for a 10mm thermal monocular on Google, you will find out that the average price for one that shares similar specs with G2 Guardian will start from around $600. For your comparison, the estimated BOM cost for iPhone 14 Pro Max is around $440, which means their margin rate is over 60%. And I will assume that Samsung S23 Ultra margin rate will be even higher, since they basically own the whole supply chain. But for us, if you add all the logistic fees, import tax, platform service, since we are selling on Amazon or eBay, our margin is actually really low. We consider G2 Guardian as a bold move made to increase our reputation and audience by offering the best product that we can have. So more of you guys can have the chance to get to know AGM as a brand, and hopefully with more of you on board, we could increase our market share this year and reduce the cost from our suppliers. G2 series smartphones are fueled by the new generation Qualcomm 6490, a 6nm industrial-grade chipset that runs on 8 cores and allows your device to perform smoothly, even while you multitask through different demanding apps, thanks to its 2.7 GHz of CPU speed. So for my fellow geeks, you guys are able to find every technical detail about this chipset on our spec sheet. But for the sake of simplicity here, let me just go straight to the point and compare this Qualcomm QCN6490 chipset performance to other chipsets used in popular smartphones. We use the well-known website versus.com to compare these chipsets. When we compared our Qualcomm 6490 to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G Plus that is used in phones like the Nothing phone, we saw that 778G Plus gets a higher score, mostly because it has more features, but our 6490 achieves a faster CPU speed and uploads. It also has an important advantage, since we also have multi-threading. So why is multi-threading so important? Well, since Qualcomm 6490 is an industrial-grade chipset, multi-threading is crucial, because it provides improved performance, especially when multitasking, since it allows each chipset core to run 2 instructions at the same time. So we also compared our chipset to the regular version of Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G 5G that is used in smartphones like the Poco X5 Pro, Realme 9 5G SE, or different Samsung Galaxy models like the A73, the M52 or A52s. In this case, we can see here that we get a better score with higher upload and CPU speed, and also the multi-threading capability. Another popular chipset widely used in smartphones is the MediaTek Dimensity 1080. Some phones using these ones are the Samsung Galaxy A34 5G or the Xiaomi Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G. Here we can see how Qualcomm 6490 scores and compares to these other chipsets in popular benchmark websites like Antutu or Geekbench. So we all know that Guardian it's an outdoor phone, but still, many of us we do like to play some games from time to time. So game on! We did test its performance playing different games, and it does achieve a very healthy and steady number of FPS, playing the most demanding games and while being able to run them under high settings. So sure, Qualcomm 6490 it's a 5G chipset with great connectivity, but it's also compatible with Wi-Fi 6 networks. Wi-Fi 6 is the latest Wi-Fi protocol that we are starting to see everywhere. It provides better security and improved speed, especially when many people are connected to the same network. That's why I think it's gonna be widely adopted really quick, especially in public places like bus stations, parks, hospitals. So even if you are like me and don't want to upgrade your router to a Wi-Fi 6 compatible one, I'm sure it's gonna be very handy to have a Wi-Fi 6 compatible smartphone, especially when traveling or visiting public places. When you purchase AGM Guardian, you can also choose between 2 options. The first version that comes with 8 GB of RAM memory, or the faster version that comes with 12 gigabytes. It's up to you, player. Alright, so you already know about the long-range thermal camera built in within AGM Guardian, but of course we didn't stop there. This time we have the most advanced camera system in an AGM device ever. We designed our smartphones to be ready for any situation that might come your way. And that's why we have also prepared a whole camera lineup that will allow you to capture your favorite moments, no matter when or where. So let's start with the main camera. We decided to go heavy here with those megapixels and included a 108 megapixel Samsung camera. The best thing about a camera like this is the ability to zoom in closer than ever while maintaining a decent quality. We did quite a lot of tests to this camera to see how it performs overall and especially to check the quality of the zoom. Over here on the front we can find the front camera. It's a 32 megapixels one that ensures a smooth performance in every video call or just to take a selfie whenever you feel like. We also included an infrared night vision camera. It's a 20 megapixel camera manufactured by Sony that will allow you to see through the darkest of nights. I think that it's a really important component for every outdoor phone since it can prove itself quite useful, especially when you're out and you want to go hiking or camping. We also have one more camera on the back of the phone. It's the 2 megapixel macro camera that allows users to get super close. It's not a camera that probably you will be using very often, but it can be quite fun to use, and especially when you are out there and want to have a closer look to some insect or plant. As you can see, you will have plenty of camera choices with Guardian to freeze time and immortalize the moment. Guardian's screen is quite big. We designed a powerful device full of options and gadgets. Therefore, we decided to go with a 6.58-inch display that can allow users to have a comfortable experience no matter what you do. For sure, image quality is also really important. That's why the display is Full HD Plus with a 2408x1080 resolution. There is no point in having a huge display with a low resolution and refresh rate. That will be like a SUV with bicycle wheels. The screen supports 120 Hz refresh rate, meaning that the screen will refresh 120 times per second, producing a smoother motion and transition. It makes a massive difference to the way that the device feels. So we also did a little comparison between Guardian 120 Hz display and a regular 60 Hz display. Because you know, nowadays a 60 Hz display just feels laggy. Every device produced by AGM must be durable and sustainable. The screen is for sure a vital point that must be reinforced at all costs. Therefore, we paid special attention here to protect it as much as we could, both through design and material. Guardian screen is manufactured by the world-famous company Corning. Their Gorilla Glass provides superior protection against scratches or drops. Of course, it's not just the screen. Guardian is an armored device crafted to endure and thrive where others fail. We invented the first rugged phone a long time ago, and our community members know us for producing heavy-duty devices that they can trust. So nothing different here in Guardian, it's still as tough as they come. It can fly high, go for a good dive, be covered by sand or dust. It will just keep going. But to keep going and going, of course, just durability is not enough. For sure, it needs a long-lasting battery to power up this bad boy. Raw battery capacity is important. Guardian runs on a 7000 mAh battery that provides exactly that. But battery life is also about efficiency, and that's where the Qualcomm chipset with Wi-Fi 6 capabilities shines, boosting the time that Guardian will keep going. Personally, I've been using Guardian for the last 2 months, and doing a normal use of the phone, the battery lasts for more than 2 days without charging. But of course, we did run tests on our lab to know exactly how long does the battery last. Here's the exact data that we gathered. Talk time, 32 hours. Web browsing, 8.3 hours, and video playback 10.5 hours. So as you can see, you will have no problem at all with Guardian battery during your outdoor plans or daily work. Due to the great feedback received by our community and independent reviews, AGM Iconic speaker is a part that has to be included also for G2 series. It's an improved version of the speaker that you remember from previous models. A powerful 3.5 watts speaker able to deliver up to 109 dB of sound. I used to carry a little portable speaker when I went camping, but nowadays it's cool just to bring up your phone with you, since this one can definitely do the trick. As I said, we got really good feedback from our community, but also great suggestions to improve it. And that's why we did update the original design to improve sound quality and also to provide better durability and scratch resistance. We also have many other useful functions in Guardian, but I'm not going to explain in detail how they work since this video is already too long and most of you guys already know exactly how they work. Guardian is also equipped with a powerful torch, dual sign GPS, side fingerprint scanner, dual SIM card, NFC. So you can also check the list with all the specs and functions on our official website, agmmobile.com. Thank you guys for your time, and I will see you next time.